You're listening to Biz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. It's the top of the hour, so it's time for the Biz News Summary Update Recap Show. I'm Jeffrey Concentrated. Here's what's been making headlines this hour. The world of luck and chance has been thrown into an uproar following the invention of a brand new, revolutionary, fortune-gathering machinery. It was developed by the Laboratory of Clairvoyant Sciences, the same facility that's brought us such incredible, innovative technologies as the Spiritual Pollution Matrix, the Ocean Karma Antidote Network, the Titanium Cloud Compressor, and the Electronic Sun Controller. Their latest invention is the Opportunity Insulation Window. It looks, feels, and behaves just like an ordinary window, being thin and transparent. But what makes it special is that it absorbs the small pockets of lost opportunity which are naturally released during the daytime by the spiritual providence of ordinary people not realizing their hopes and dreams. This is then captured, collected, and stored into a divine special chamber, to be reused later in helping down and out people turn their lives around and get back on their feet. President of Clairvoyant and Prophetic Industries, Teresa Marshall, said that the long-term hope for her company is to massively expand distribution across the entire city, installing tens of thousands of new opportunity insulation windows, collecting up thousands of times more opportunity essence than they currently are. The World Championship of Paper Planes, Spitballs, Bubblegum and Office Cricket happened over the weekend in Middlestead. It was a very exciting and unpredictable event, and the full details of the carnival will be discussed in a full half-an-hour special presentation and panel discussion hosted by Chaka Wilson later tonight. The highlight from the weekend was the introduction of a new sport to the already packed roster: envelope pushing. Competing athletes are each given a standard mailing envelope, and they must push it across a flat surface for 10 whole meters, without lifting it up off the ground or providing any upward lift, using just their physical bodies and not blowing on it. The gold medal was won by local boy Clifford Hamilton, age 17, who was able to complete his enveloping in 3 minutes and 22 seconds, more than a minute ahead of his nearest rival. When interviewed after the ceremony, Clifford revealed that he practiced envelope pushing for 3 hours after school every day, and he's very glad that all that hard work has paid off with this prize. The technology and software startup company, Blizzard Paragon Peach Electronics, has declared bankruptcy and gone into receivership, little over a month since publicly launching. In her public statement announcing the decision, CEO Megan Howell explained that the root cause of the company's financial difficulties, so early on in its operations, was its unusual spending policies. As Miss Howell explained, in order to make sure that the company never ran out of supplies or resources or materials, it would always overbuy whatever it needed to use, keeping the rest in storage for next time. If there was an occasion when the company needed to buy one of an item, it would go ahead and buy 100 of them. This policy didn't just apply to small things like pens, envelopes and paper clips, but larger items like mechanized modifiers, atmospheric analyzers and adaptable robotic automatrons, which costs tens of thousands of dollars each. So, despite having tens of millions of dollars with which to get their company off the ground, the company has now gone bust, having spent all its money without creating one single invention, let alone sending a product for mass production and public consumption. Police have been left red-faced after a hostage exchange didn't go according to plan. With the deal not going ahead as negotiated, the ransom money was not handed over to the assailant and the hostage wasn't given over to authorities. The kidnappers and police had already negotiated a plan for the exchange. It was to take place in the bay, far away from the shoreline, and the two parties would approach a destination point on 2 separate boats. They would meet at a designated time, and then the exchange of the hostage for the ransom money would take place. But things didn't go according to plan, because that evening a thick northerly fog came up from the ocean, leaving the bay with very low visibility, making geographical navigation impossible and blocking out all sounds. Despite their best efforts, the two parties were unable to locate the agreed destination point for the trade, and when they tried to find one another, they failed to do that too. According to Black Box Records, the two ships got to within 10 meters of each other, but travelled adjacent to and then past the other. Police and the kidnappers are currently in negotiations for a second attempt at the exchange. An unusual weather event happened in the northern coastal town of Clamfordshire, when cats and dogs began falling from the sky. The intense wind pressure and high humidity ensured that all the furry creatures slowly descended safely to the ground, without any reported injuries, let alone deaths. It all started when a thunderstorm arrived from the south, but instead of covering the town in the usual water, which is common during this time of the year, it was live animals. Although having cats and dogs fall from the sky during a thunderstorm is not unheard of, happening maybe once every couple of years, it normally involves no more than a small handful of such animals. What makes this event at Cliffordshire unique and unexpected was that it involved literally hundreds of cats and dogs. A spokeswoman from the National Bureau of Oceanic and Atmospheric Science has said that they will be looking at their collected data to try to find an explanation for why this occurred. And that's what's been making news this hour. The next edition of the Biz News Summary Update Recap Show will be at the top of the next hour. You're listening to Biz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I'm Jeffrey Concentrated. We'll now return you to your normal programming.